All right, so today, we're diving into something pretty juicy. A club swimming in cash, but with a manager who might just maybe not be in the same league as their ambitions.
Yeah, it's Newcastle.
Newcastle it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a fascinating case study, isn't it? When ambition and reality, they collide, and in the Premier League, things get really interesting. And we're looking at this opinion piece from One Football, and let me tell you, they are not holding back.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They're calling for Eddie Howe's head, arguing that even with some, decent results, he's holding the Magpies back.
Yeah.
And get this, they're backing it up with some cold, hard stats.
Yeah, they went there.
Yeah.
They dug into the numbers.
It's not just vibes.
No, it's more than just vibes. So they're looking at Howe's win rate, and here's the thing. If you project his 2024 performance over a whole season, Newcastle are looking at what, roughly 60 points?
Yeah.
Now that might sound okay to your average fan.
But for a club with Newcastle's newfound wealth and ambition, 60 points is going to land you, more of a mid-table finish, right? The article points out that in recent years, that kind of points tally has had teams battling for 6th to 9th place, not exactly lifting trophies, which makes you wonder, is this just a blip, or is it a sign of a much deeper issue?
And that's what the article's really getting at. They're saying it's not a blip, it's a trend.
Yeah.
This like insipid staleness creeping in.
Oh, insipid staleness.
They even call his tactics predictable. Insipid staleness. I have to admit, is a new one for me in this context.
Insipid staleness, harsh but vivid. It's like, it's giving flat beer. It's technically still beer, but it's missing that fizz, the excitement. And the article points to the 4-3-3 formation that Howe seems to favor, arguing that opponents have got it figured out at this point.
Totally. Imagine you're a defender and you've been facing that same formation week after week. You start to anticipate the runs, where the passing lanes are going to be. The whole shebang.
Right.
Becomes a lot easier to shut down fewer goal-scoring opportunities.
And that lack of creativity is something the article really hits hard. They talk about the uninspired set pieces, like watching Kent dry, and then this supposed inability to break down defenses who are content to just sit back and absorb the pressure.
And that's where the tactics become even more crucial, right? Because if a team knows you're going to stick to this predictable pattern, they can use that to their advantage.
Totally.
They can stifle the strengths, exploit the weaknesses. It's like playing chess with someone who only knows one opening move.
Yeah. What's interesting, though? It's not all doom and gloom. The article doesn't just tear Howe down. It also throws out some pretty wild solutions, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. There's some bold possibilities thrown around in this piece.
Oh yeah, they go there.
Okay, so tell me more.
The most audacious one, I think you could say, is what they're calling the Guardiola Gambit.
Okay, I have to admit, when I first read that, I chuckled a little bit. Pep Guardiola and Newcastle. It's like suggesting we replace the tea lady with Elon Musk. You know what I mean? Like, ambitious doesn't even cut it.
Right. This is arguably the best manager in the world. Someone who's built dynasties at Barcelona and Manchester City.
Yeah. It's won it all.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
But that's what makes this suggestion so intriguing.
It's like they're saying, Newcastle, you want to play with the big boys. Here's how you do it. The article even argues that the allure of building a new legacy from the ground up, a team in his image at a club with essentially unlimited resources, that might be tempting even for someone at Guardiola's level.
Yeah, it's like a whole new challenge, right?
Yeah.
Imagine the headlines. Pep takes on Tyneside. It would send shockwaves through the Premier League. Think about the players Newcastle could attract with Guardiola at the helm. Suddenly they're in the conversation for any top talent in the world.
It'd be a massive gamble, though, right? I mean, Guardiola seems pretty settled at City. Would he really walk away from, that well-oiled machine for a club that is still kind of finding its feet in the upper echelons of the league?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And realistically, prying him away from Manchester City, that would be an astronomical feat, both financially and just convincing him to leave a club where he's already achieved legendary status.
Right, so let's say Guardiola politely declines that blank check offer and the lifetime supply of Newcastle Brown Ale. They do have some backup options, right, in this article?
They do. It's like they've presented this menu of managerial styles.
Okay, I like it.
It's an attacking flair.
Yeah.
They propose Edin Terzic. He led Dortmund to the Champions League final. Young, hungry, known for his really dynamic approach.
Okay, so he's our high-pressing, high-scoring option.
Exactly.
I love it. What about a bit more experience, though? Someone who knows how to navigate a title race when the pressure is really on.
For that, they suggest Roger Schmidt. He made a name for himself with that high-octane attacking style at Red Bull Salzburg.
Right.
He's honed his skills at Benfica and PSV Eindhoven, consistently challenging for titles and playing that attractive attacking football.
So, Schmidt sounds like he ticks a lot of boxes: experience, attacking philosophy, proven track record. But there's always one more name on these lists, right? The safe option, the experienced winner. Who do they have in mind for that?
They went with Massimiliano Allegri. And you can't really argue with his trophy cabinet, multiple Serie A titles, with Juventus a Champions League final appearance.
Right, he's got the goods.
Known for building those defensively solid teams that know how to grind out results.
Okay, so we've got three very different potential managers here. The young up-and-comer, the seasoned attacker, and the pragmatic winner. It really highlights that key question facing Newcastle right now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What kind of identity do they want to build? It's like you're choosing between, a three-course meal at a fancy restaurant, right? Do you want that exciting new fusion dish, or the classic steak frites, or the comforting pasta? Each choice says something different about your taste, what you're looking for.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And just like with a good meal, it's not just about the individual elements, it's about how they all come together.
Exactly.
This goes beyond just the manager. It's about how their philosophy meshes with the players. They have the club's transfer strategy, even the expectations of the fans.
You've got me thinking now. Imagine being a Newcastle fan right now. On the one hand, you've got a certain comfort with Eddie Howe, right?
Sure.
He steadied the ship. He's the reason they're back in a prominent position. But then on the other hand,
There's that what if,
that tantalizing possibility of what could be. And this article, while potentially harsh on Howe, it does raise some important questions. Are the ambitions of the owners who we know are clearly willing to spend big, are those ambitions in line with the team's current trajectory under Howe?
Yeah, and that's a debate that's happening at clubs all over the world, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's this constant tension between patience and ambition, long-term vision versus those short-term results. And I think nowhere is that more amplified than in the Premier League, with that constant pressure cooker atmosphere.
Yeah, it's true. And, this article really just scratches the surface when it focuses solely on the manager. It's a good reminder, though, that success in football, especially at the highest level, it's a complex recipe
Absolutely.
with a lot of different ingredients.
Many ingredients, player recruitment, youth development, even just the overall culture of the club, all of those things play a part.
You can lead a horse to water, right? So for all of you listening out there, we want to know what you think. Is it time for a shakeup at Newcastle? Is Eddie Howe the man to take them to the promised land, or does this article have a point about needing to make a change?
Yeah, there are no easy answers here.
Yeah.
It's about weighing the pros and cons, understanding all the little nuances of the situation, and ultimately deciding what matters most for the future of Newcastle United.
It's a debate that will rage on, I'm sure. But hey, that's the beauty of football, isn't it? The passionate discussions, the what-ifs, the endless possibilities. One thing's for sure with Newcastle's resources and this ever-shifting landscape of the Premier League, things are about to get very, very interesting at St. James's Park. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.